Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm your girl Shay Dawson.
I'm Tania Rivers. Happy New Year's, Tippers.
And we're back. We're back.
I mean, could you believe it was like I was having withdrawal that we didn't record for a little bit? I was like so looking forward to being back behind the mic, and I miss my Shay boo. I miss my girl.
Man, I miss you too. It's crazy because I was like literally having podcast guilt of like, oh my God, our listeners. But really what we did was just give them time to catch up to all our episodes.
Exactly. You know. So if you're not following Tipping the Scales, what's wrong with you? But please be sure that you're following Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcast. Super important. You know how I feel like
sending
we're on
to your
journey.
Friends. What are you doing?
Right? Okay. Shay, so I see you're starting off the new year in style. I am loving those glasses you got on. You look cute, sweetie.
Thank you, boo. Thank you, boo. Yes, these are amazing. I love starting off the new year with like a refreshed Shay, you know, which we talked about on the pod. So yes. These are my new glasses. I love them.
Love.
Pair eyewear. Get into it. Get into it.
Look, and the fact that what I love about them the most is the fact that you can switch them up and snap in any time. So literally, you could have a new pair of glasses every hour on an hour, which is cool, and they're super affordable. I mean, mine, boom.
And I got some for your Sunny Bunny. When I go to the games, okay?
So yes, I did choose the Phoenix Suns. I also like the black tops as well. So again, like the fact that you can get these from a range of iconic base shapes, just starting at $60 is crazy. And wait, that includes the prescription as well. For those of you who
so these are the $60, and then these are the toppers around $25, which is really cool. But the other thing is, that's interesting about it is like over 200 children need eyewear, need glasses all over the world.
That's crazy.
And every pair you buy from Pair Eyewear, the Pair Eyewear will donate to a child in need. So it's pretty cool.
That definitely pulls at my heartstrings. Like I have a niece who needs glasses, and I couldn't imagine her just being in school without being able to see. Like it's essential to be able to see. So the fact that Pair is donating to children, it just means a lot. So it's not like you're just getting some cool, great glasses, but the fact that they're making a difference is amazing. And I love it. Yeah.
So yeah, it's super exciting. And we are literally bringing it to the Tippers community, paireyewear.com. Literally so excited for our new partnership with them.
Yeah. So experiment with who you can be in 2023 with Pair. So go to paireyewear.com/tipping for 15% off your first purchase. So that's Pair, PAIR, eyewear.com/tipping.
I love it. So I can't wait to see everyone. Tag us in your videos once you purchase. But
yeah.
So what's going on in the new year? What's on your mind? What you thinking?
Yeah, well, you know me, kind of level setting, goal setting, but I'll tell you what's been in my mind, just been in my spirit lately is once Twitch. So for those of you who don't know, Twitch was just an amazing individual. Like I know he was a DJ for Ellen. I used to watch him once, So You Think You Can Dance. I love that show. And when he committed suicide, it was just something that took the wind out of me. And, for those of you who don't know, like I lost my brother through suicide. So of course, it was something that just hit home for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about all the different things that's going on with people in the world today and, the different approaches that we need to take because life is difficult, right? It's not easy. We're going to face so many different challenges in our lives. And I've been thinking a lot about having this unbroken mindset is knowing that we're going to go through so many different challenges in our lives, but what can we do as one community to support one another to get through these changes? Because, life is hard and it's not easy. But the more, and for those of you who didn't listen to the episode when Nafis came on. That's Shay's fiance. So shout out to Fees. Hey, little brother.
Hey, nah.
But he talked about the importance of talking to someone, that you
Mm-hmm.
can't keep things that are bothering you bottled up, that you have to share out. And I know that's difficult for some people. Like, I'm a motor mouth. I'm like, Shay, I'm sad, I'm not helping. But not everyone, is open to doing that.
Or has someone that they can, belt out,
Yeah.
what they're feeling authentically inside. And so it's dope that we have each other. It's dope that we have this podcast. And I'm so with you on that. I think when I heard that news about Twitch, like that literally just I thought I was desensitized to a lot of the bad news that comes over, the internet and stuff like that, but that hit me because I'm a TikToker and I love
Yeah.
dancing and I
I know
watch
you love dancing. You're
tons
good.
of thank you. And I
Yeah.
watch tons of dancers and just seeing him and his wife
Yeah.
together smiling and sharing,
Mhm.
in harmony with his kids. I just thought, wow, how much joy does he bring to so many people every day?
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
that was crazy. And so I think
Yeah.
it's a great point and a great topic to kind of just like start the year off with of like, let's start clean, let's start new, let's start talking to people, let's normalize having these conversations, let's normalize talking about our feelings, let's normalize this so that we're lighter as the year starts
For
to
sure.
build because
Yeah.
things will compound over time. And so I think the new year is a good way to start thinking about how
Definitely.
you're going to, enter freshly. So,
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore. And I think what's important too is being able to compartmentalize the things that you're going through, right? Like when you think about all the different stressors that life brings, from illnesses to heartbreaks to losing jobs. I mean, right
yeah.
now, across many different industries, like you're seeing layoffs, right? Like you've seen it
Mhm.
across the board with Facebook and a lot of other companies that are laying off. And life isn't easy. Like, think about how
Mhm.
difficult it is to lose a job. Like,
Yeah.
people, there are still, we think about people like who are living paycheck to paycheck. Like, I was, there was a point in time in a good part of my life where I was living paycheck to paycheck. And
Mhm.
when I lost a job, I was part of a larger rift when I worked for a big financial firm that laid off 30,000 people. And I had just bought a house in Malvern. Mikhail had just started school at Great Valley, and I lost my job. It was
Mm.
awful. And I had left another big financial firm that I was there for like almost 10 years. So to start this new company was there for a very short period of time, like a couple years, almost 2 years, and
Mhm.
then to be laid off was devastating. And
Can
at that
imagine.
time, life just seemed very daunting. It felt
Mhm.
like I could not see past my present, and I was worried about like how am I going to feed my son, how I'm going to pay my bills, I'm going to lose my mortgage. And
Mhm.
there were some times, I mean, that was rough. I mean, I did survive. I still ended up going through a foreclosure that I'm very, you know, I don't hide that because it's those tough times that kind of shaped and made me to be the person that I am today. And I never hide things that I struggled with because I do think that we're a community of helping and supporting one another. And for folks to know that, yeah, guess what? It was a time where T had a foreclosure. No one even knew. It was
Yeah.
a big deal. It was hurtful. And at the time, the only thing that I can hear in my ear is, you had that little voice in your ear sometimes that whispers the not so great things,
Yeah.
is the voice that was very dominant at the time was worthless, worthless, worthless. And that's
Yeah.
all I kept hearing because I felt
Mm.
like not only did I fail as a parent, as a person, but I kind
Yeah.
of, was letting my son down because, you know, for me and the decisions that I made within my career.
Yeah, and it sucks because it feels like that's the pressure that you
Yeah.
feel from society to
Yeah.
be a certain way and to do things a certain I guess in a certain amount of time, right? If
Mhm. Mhm.
by 25, if I'm not married, by
Mhm.
30, if I'm not, making a certain amount of money, like you
Yes.
feel this like pressure. And the
Mhm.
fact that people feel like they can't share what they're going through at
Yeah.
the time as if everyone's not going through it. Like, we're all just trying to do the best we can.
That's
And I
right.
think we need to share that more, which is why I love this pod, is because that's what we talk about. It's like, yeah, you see us up, but we're also not immune to downtimes or times where things
Yes.
aren't going our
And we
way.
struggled
And we
hard,
struggled, right?
both of
And
us.
it could
Yeah.
potentially happen again. I don't know. We don't know what
We don't
happens,
know what
but
life
we have
brings.
to build those skills, like you always say, to understand how to tip the scale back in our favor. And when that happens, what to do, the mindset that you have, the grit that you learned from the first time, T, the
Mhm.
grit that I learned from the things that I went through, like in
Yes.
2022. I felt like this was such a hard year for me.
Yeah.
But it was transformative and I'm appreciative for it. But it was taxingly one of the most physically and emotionally times in my life, just because things were not going the way I wanted. Like, we got engaged and we haven't set a date yet, and the pressure of that. And it's like the pressure of that, but it's like there's so many things that are going on in our lives. Nafis is in school, you know, I'm kind
Yes.
of in this transition period as well.
Mhm.
And like, we're not
Yeah.
financially there to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
the pressure of that sometimes causes you to feel like you need
Yes.
yeah, or you feel worthless, that you're not doing what
Right?
what
That
society is telling
word.
you, right? It's
Yes.
that, like,
Yes.
oh my God, like, what are people gonna say? Are they
Mm.
gonna, and so it's like,
Mhm.
why is that? And I hate that. And
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Shay, because I think,
yeah.
again, the more that we can be upfront and honest about the things that we are dealing with, the maybe we can encourage and support somebody along the way,
Mhm.
and we all struggle in different components of our lives. I was very transparent in 2020. God, I'm like, what year are we in? 2023? In 2022, just
Right.
about like like just going through like relationship woes. And that's not easy. And I was thinking the other day when I was telling you about having this unbroken mindset, it's
Yeah.
about, guess what, folks? Yeah, you're going to get cheated on. Yeah, you're going to have your heart broken. Yeah, there are things that are going to happen. But how can you just remind yourself that it's temporary, and then some things are, you may deal with an illness that may not be temporary, maybe lasting along, but you gotta know that you have to be resilient. You have to be strong. You have to
Mhm.
talk about it, because I think talking is part of cleansing, is part of healing, opposed
Mhm.
to keeping it bottled up. Like, it's like almost like you are getting rid of different pieces that you need to just let go, right? Like, you're coming out like a caterpillar that's just coming out of like the cocoon.
I love that.
Right?
Or like a puzzle, right?
Yeah.
You start to put pieces together and sometimes stuff doesn't fit.
No.
So you're like, okay, that doesn't work. Like, I gotta try
Mhm.
that, try that.
For
And
sure.
let's say you got a good cadence going and you find piece after piece, and then you know what? It stops, it slows down. You got to keep replacing that. I love that. That kind of puts it in perspective. That actually even helps me right now.
Yeah.
It's
Me
just
too.
like, yeah, I gotta some of
Gotta
those
keep
pieces don't
pushing
fit.
along no matter
Yeah.
what. And no matter what life brings, it's just understanding that you will not be broken by this. We will not allow this to break you.
Mhm.
You are going to deal with it, and you're going to get the help that you need. And help can really look, it looks differently for every single person, and it depends on what you need. But I think what is most important is that you don't sit in silence, because silence is never a good place to stay. Now, there are times where you need to kind of become one with whatever situation that you're dealing with. And sometimes it's good to kind of just, sometimes everyone's different.
Yeah.
So sometimes I need to deal with things, like, accept it and just deal with it myself before I'm able to share out. It's like I gotta, like, okay, I do some self checking, and all
Yeah.
right, now I'm ready. But don't sit with it too long,
And
especially.
don't let it consume you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Don't let it consume you, because life has a way of just sucking you up and spitting you out
Mm.
if you allow it. But if you really say, you know what? I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z. I'm going to fight this. I'm going to do my best to tackle this. When I think about mental illness, I think about my brother who struggled, and it was very, very rough for him.
Mhm.
And, I blame myself for a good period of time. Like, how could I showed up and try not to get emotional because it's just so hurtful. I said to myself, like, could I have done something different as a sister?
Mhm.
That maybe could have encouraged him to want to be here.
Mhm.
So I've thought through that a lot of times, and I said to myself that one, I have to forgive myself, because he made a decision and it was his decision, and that's what I have to accept. But at the same time, it was me, like, calling him and checking on him and making sure that he was good, to the fact that the day before it happened, he called me and he said, "I just want to thank you for being a good sister. You've always been a good sister to me." And I was joking, like, "Oh, thank you. By the time you take me seriously," but I had no idea that was a means to an end. So I do think it's important that as we're dealing with different challenges in our lives, that you reach out to the folks that are in your circle who
Mhm.
needs you, that you're checking on them, that they
Mhm.
know that you love them and that they have someone in their corner, because I think it really goes a long way.
And I'm sorry again,
Yeah.
about that situation, T. And I
Yeah.
also just wanted to let you know that obviously you did what
Yeah.
you could do.
Yeah. Of
That is
course.
who you are, and I'm rest assured that you did everything that you can do. You didn't know,
Yeah.
and also know that I don't think your brother, it wasn't a decision. It was probably he only probably felt like that's what he needed to do, and
Mhm.
I think it's really hard to tell, what's
Yeah.
going on inside of someone, and
Mhm.
it's not personal, and I'm
Yeah.
sure, right, that
Mhm.
if it could have been differently and he had another choice, maybe, but just know that God doesn't make mistakes, and
Yeah.
he just called your brother home, and he had a better job
Yeah.
for him, and, he wanted him to be with him, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I really appreciate you just saying that, and I think for me is when I think back to when he was struggling the most, and I think this is something that we can all resonate with, is,
Mhm,
he just didn't feel comfortable talking to people, like,
mhm,
did not want therapy. And I cannot stress the importance, tippers, of how therapists can be life changing.
mhm,
When I lost my brother, I went to a therapist because I was at an all time low. And seeing the therapist had, changed my life, because
mhm,
I was able to get some help with dealing with the thoughts that I had in my head.
mhm,
And I think when we go through certain things, like, don't be ashamed. We talked about this before when Nafis was on our show. So please make sure you go back and check out his episode.
mhm,
But don't be afraid to talk to someone, because I know, especially in a Black community, is not something that is always embraced, right? I know it's
mhm,
not something that was embraced in my family, and I use the analogy of, if you go outside and let's just say you trip and fall and you break a leg, like, you're going to
mhm.
rush to the ER because you need to potentially have surgery. You need to get it assessed. Like, you're going to do a variety of things to
Yeah.
kind of help you get yourself together so you can walk, right? Like, you're not going to stay home, like, I got time for that. I don't really want to talk. It's not something I need, but you're going to need a physician, right, to help you. Same thing when you have a mental, whether it be a break or a tear or whatever it is that you're dealing with, you cannot just sit home and expect it to heal by itself. Like, you're going to need
Mhm.
help. Sorry, I had to wipe
No,
my
it's
nose because I was
okay.
crying. You're going to need help, right? And don't just sit there and allow yourself to believe that you can self heal. Get the attention that you need. Just like I use that analogy of you getting help for a physical break, your mental break, your mental capacity is just as important as physically the things that happen to you. So just don't sit in that. Like, go get the help. I think it's
Yeah,
important.
and I think it's also too about being exposed to options.
Yeah.
If people knew they had more options, maybe they could make a better decision in
Yeah.
those stressful times. Um, And so I think that's our job, right? And that's our
Right.
job here is to figure out all the lessons that we've learned from people that we've come in contact with, from people in our family, things we've seen, and just try to expose people to the things that um, are more likely silent or more likely people not to talk about. And so I think that's
Yeah.
what we're going to do here. And you
Yeah.
you always do that, and that's what I love about you is you're
Thanks,
so
Shay.
transparent, and you're getting even more just well versed in how you share that and then giving information. And I think since it's
Yeah.
so near and dear to you, it's like something that we really should touch on a lot
Yeah.
more. And I love that we're going in this direction for the new
Yeah.
year. And so that's
Yeah.
dope.
Thank you. And I think
You're welcome.
again, we're supporting each other, and that's
Yeah,
why I love tipping the scales because it's something that Shay and I we're like, this is like our marriage. Like we're
it is.
committed to
It is.
making this work. And it's something that we believe in, it's something that we want to do. And, as we look ahead, now that we have a new year, tippers, like we all need a cleanse,
Hmm.
right? So we need to get rid of all the things in 2022 that was holding us back, whether it be a negative mindset, whether it be someone who was bringing us down. Like it's time to cleanse. And part of that cleanse is cutting some people off who are negative or who is not meant to be in your life. So
Mm,
let's start off the year like we talk about having change. We talked about, exercising and, we're looking at our health. This is a time where people love to set these resolutions and they're looking at the year. I like to say goals and look at what's short-term goals, what's long-term goals, what are some of the things that I want to accomplish across the board. But I think part of that is being to let some shit go.
yeah.
It is a must,
Yeah.
right? Like you got to be willing to say, you know what? This was something that was, me being negative all the time was something that was holding me back, right?
Hmm.
And I am no longer going to allow that to get in the way of my happiness.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm working on trying new things, trying something new. Like
Yeah.
wearing these glasses from Pair Eyewear literally is like so invigorating because it's like I can change up my outfit
So
every
new
day. Cause
you,
you know what
new
I'm
look,
saying?
new you.
Well, it's not new. I won't say I knew. I've been working kind of on this version of Shay for a minute, which you've been helping
I
me
mean, a new look,
mold
new
and
you.
yeah, new look. Yeah, new look.
Yeah.
New year, new look. Not a new year, new me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
Pair Eyewear
Fair.
literally they just have everything that I need. Like they have different styles of frames, which is what I love. And
Yep.
so now I don't have to have 8,000 pairs of glasses. I can have 2 set pairs of glasses with
And
different tops.
just switch out the
And
tops.
yeah, so that's what's so dope for me. But like also, I'm getting a new wardrobe. I'm cleansing. I'm getting a
Yes.
new wardrobe,
Yay,
and I'm
yay.
super excited excited about that. I don't think I'm gonna switch up my hair. I'm about to get my braids from Dime. Hey Dime. Next
Ah,
week.
I miss her.
I miss her too.
Now I
I
need
need
to
her.
go check my girl out. Yes.
Exactly.
And you know, those black and white pairs you have on is pretty dope with the
Thank
tops.
you. Thank
How easy
you.
is it? I'm just curious. How easy is it to switch out the tops?
It's super easy. So you kind of just take them off like that. They
Yeah.
have magnets here on both sides, and
Yeah.
then you just pop them on and they stay. And that's the dope thing about it. So I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm excited for it to come on here and just have different looks. I can't wait to see yours.
I know.
And which one's
Big
you.
reveal. I know. Looking like a cutie with my new glasses. So
Eh.
again, tippers, don't forget to check out paireyewear.com/tipping. And more importantly, I don't know about you, but I love a discount. I'm a discount queen, despite Shay calling me. What did you? I'm all these
What did I
snobs.
call you? I call you so many
Oh
snobs.
my God. What was the last one? You said something. Oh, she teases me all the time, something about a snob, about designer stuff. And I forgot what it was.
Oh,
What
she
she
was talking
called.
about her Christmas gifts where she was shopping and she was like, yeah, and then I just like have to run to Gucci and then like, yeah, they know me. Like I just had to like tell her my phone number and I was just like, ew.
But still, I'm a sucker for a discount.
But
So
yeah, you said
the
that was your follow-up was like, I'm a
right,
sucker for a discount.
right.
Exactly.
So the fact that you can get 15% off your first purchase, um, I encourage you to go get your fresh pair of eyewear, and that's,
Because
bringing in
you
new you.
know how we step in with Pair Eyewear this year. Like, it's gonna be so dope. And first of all, Tippers, this is one of our first sponsorships, and we are so excited to work with them, and we believe
No.
in them, and we're
Yeah.
just so blessed in 2023.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So what else? What else when you look at, this new year, this time of
New
to kind of
sponsorship.
cleanse, right? Like all these
Mhm.
things that are happening that's exciting in your life. And, what are some other things that you think that we should be doing as part of this kind of like new year, new goals, new mindset, right?
I think if you're able to find new environments to exist in,
Yeah.
because you adopt the habits and you get motivated and inspired by the people that you're around in the environment. So more
Hmm.
plants, more sunlight,
Oh, I like the
more
plants and the sunlight.
right, more things that are natural to just your health in general, but your mental health. Like having more plants, real plants in the house
I love
contributes to your
plants.
oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Doing things that are good for your skin, like stuff that's like passively. You don't have to have a skin routine and all that, but just like being in the sun, right? Obviously, if you're fair
A
skin,
little
protect
limited
yourself.
right now because it's so freaking cold. Even
I
though the last
know.
couple of days have been pretty, not so bad, but sun is important. Like, you get your vitamin D, but you
Mhm.
got to get
Or
out.
even fresh air. If you can't get
Ah,
sun because you live in a cold place or you live in a place where it's dark,
still some sun, but
right? Fresh
yeah,
air. Just go
yeah.
outside and take in
Go
the
for a
the
walk.
yeah, like
Yeah,
just try to change up your environments constantly. If you work from home, take more
yeah.
breaks. If you're taking some breaks that are
Okay.
scheduled, take more. Um,
Yeah,
I just know that like the world and the planet right now is mad at us. And so
yeah.
we need to do a better job of appreciating it, recycling, cutting down our waste. Like there's so many things we can do. Like I was watching some show with Nafis was talking about just how rapidly the world and the climate and everything is just deteriorating because there's so many more people than expected and just like so much waste. I don't know about where you live, but in Atlanta, I could see houses going up, buildings going up, apartments going up everywhere. There's like no land.
Quickly, too.
Quickly,
Like,
quickly.
before you
So
know
it's
it,
just
you
like,
a month later, you're like, "Where did that house come from?" And they just
yes,
drop that off, like, whole
yeah.
apartment complexes or
Like, what material
developments
are y'all
built.
using? Because how is it
Okay?
going this fast?
Yeah,
So
it's
I just think
crazy.
we need to spend more time appreciating what we
Yeah,
have, where we are, and like filling ourselves up with just newness. So I think
yeah,
that's kind of what I'm into as well.
yeah. And just being hopeful. I think
Yeah.
knowing that there's
Hopeful.
hope in every situation and reminding yourself of that is, have hope for 2023. Knowing and say sometimes I love, like, I know Shay, you like to write things down, like you
Yeah.
love to journal. I
Mhm.
like self-talks, and I
Mhm.
think that's important to me. Like, I literally say, like, Tania, this is going to be a good year for you. Tania, like, this is what you need to do. And I think just having that hope, having those self-talks, like pumping yourself up. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need someone to pump you up. Like, you should be pumping yourself up and
Yeah.
knowing that, like, this is your time. Like, this is, all the old ways and the things that were holding you back. Like, we're gonna push that stuff out the way and
Mhm.
and come into this new year with a new mindset. Like, I think that's important too. Like, you gotta go check out some other of our episodes on Tipping the Scales where you get your podcasts. We talk about having a new, changing your mindset and how do you find your purpose, right? Like, that's an amazing episode that we did. And this is now the time to find your purpose.
Yeah.
So make sure that you go back, you check out find your purpose episode, because that's going to really help you. I think it's a perfect time to look at those. And again, tippers, like, we want to do every single thing that we can in our power, within our reach, to set ourselves up for success in 2023. Right?
Yeah. Always happening. And I would say
Okay.
another thing that I'm doing lastly before we go is just like educating yourself. I'm educating
Mm,
myself on the world is changing. Things
all
are
the
happening.
time.
There are signs. There are, the way we spend money and things like that. So just staying educated and trying to stay
Yeah.
abreast to the new things that are happening so that you're not behind, because that's
Yeah.
also a cause of anxiety and
Yes.
those feelings that we talked about before prior that, sometimes when the world changes too fast and you're not caught up, maybe you don't feel as significant or you don't feel as that you're contributing. And I think just staying educated on what's happening and I think that's important.
Yeah, cool. So thank you guys for continuing to be on this journey with us, supporting Shay and I on Tipping the Scales in 2023. Don't forget to check out Pair Eyewear. Get yourself a new set of glasses, some new frames, some new toppers, so you can look your best in 2023. See you
Yeah, follow us
guys.
on the Instagram and look for the
Yes.
content. New content coming in 2023.
Hey. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.